Hello students, welcome to Mechatronics course. Today we are gonna get an introduction to Mechatronics or robotics. So let's get started with our robotics course. In this course, we are gonna learn different concepts. Today we will be learning the concept of robotics. What is robotics? The laws of robotics, the part of robotics, the sense, think, and act, what they are. Then we'll also cover the embedded systems, different types of embedded systems. We'll cover the architecture of microcontroller and microprocessor. We'll also cover the applications of robotics, and at the end, we will also look into different protocols. IC2 protocol, UART protocol, which is very important to understand. This will build you a basic foundation into mechatronics. Okay, so let's get started with the first question. What is robotics? In easy words or in layman language, robotics is a combination of electronics engineering, mechanical engineering, computer engineering, information engineering, and software engineering. So do we be the expert of this field? We need to become expert or specialist of the field? No, definitely no. You just need to know the basics of this engineering fields. You should know the basics of electronics, right? You should know the basics of mechanical engineering. You should know the basics of computer engineering. You should know the basics of information engineering. You should know the basics of software engineering. Same. Now, basic question. Why software engineering? We are here to learn robotics. Let me give you an example. You need to make a Bluetooth controlled car. Now you know the mechanical part, how to assemble the complete car, where to put the tires, right? Everything you know, where to put motors and all that stuff. You know the mechanical stuff. You know the electronic stuff. You know which sensor to connect, where to connect the Bluetooth, where to connect the microcontroller. You know the basics. Computer, you know the programming, and information. You know how to take information from the sensors. You know this. Now where software will be used? So you need to create a Bluetooth controller car. So you need a controller, which is your application. So you need to develop an application also. So software engineering is also a part of robotics. Sometimes in some projects you need to develop some softwares where software engineering basics will be used. So now, do we need to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript? No, we don't need to learn that. There is a particular different applications which are available, open source application which we'll be using. So you don't need to go anywhere else. In this course only, I'll explain you how to create applications for robotics. So let's get started with our next slide. Before moving ahead, let's give our gratitude to this personality. He is Isaac Asimov, who first coined the term robotics. Okay, so we need to show our gratitude to this person. Let's move ahead. Okay. Now, tell me, basic question. It's a very basic question, guys. Okay. The basic three laws of robotics. The first law: a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. So whenever you create any robot, you need to keep in your mind that your robot follows these three laws. Now, when we move to basic mechatronics, these laws are not that significant. But when we move towards the industrial robotics, when you create big robots, big machines, at that time, make sure that this is followed. What the first law says: a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. So robot should not harm any human being. Second, a robot must obey orders given to it by human being except where such order should conflict with the first law. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, I hope you have watched the movie called as Chitti by Rajnikant. Have you? Yes. In that movie, when Dr. Bora orders Chitti to kill the Rajnikant, Vasikaran. Then Chitti don't do that. Why? Because Chitti, the our robot, was following the second law. Doctor, he was taking the orders, obeying the orders of Dr. Bora. But when Dr. Bora says harm the Rajnikant or the Vasikaran, then he don't do that. So he was following the second law of robotics. The third law, a robot must protect its existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Again, let's come to the movie part. The Chitti tries to keep him alive and then harm the Vasikaran. Right? So he broke the third law of robotics, due to which he was dismantled. Okay, he was disassembled or dismantled. Okay, so you need to make sure that he follows or she follows or any robot follows these three laws. First, protect human beings. Okay, and they should not be harmed. Second, obey humans' order. And third, protect itself. See, during COVID, we were protecting ourselves, right? The robot will also do that. Not from COVID, but from different casualties. It should protect itself. But when its existence is harmful to other human being or they broke first and second law, it should not keep himself alive or try to be alive. Okay, so these are the three laws which any robot should follow. I'll recommend the movie which is Chitti, a very good movie where we can see all these three laws. Right? I hope you remember that scene where there was a fire and then Chitti goes and saves the people. Third law. Right? So I hope you will find these laws applicable in that movie. So go ahead and watch that movie if you haven't watched till now. Let's move ahead. Now, what is robotics? Again, we are on the same question. What is robotics? We understood the laws of robotics, but what is robotics? Let me tell you. Every machine is not robot, but every robot is a machine. I'll repeat again. Every machine is not robot, but every robot is machine. What does that mean? Let me give you an example. Your fan, right? At home, you have a fan, right? Is the fan robot? No. Why? Because it cannot sense, it cannot think, it can only act. Fan will only act, right? Whenever you turn on the switch, it will start. It's only acting. It's not sensing, neither it's thinking. That's why it's not robot. So how do we classify a machine is a robot and robot is a machine? How do we classify that? Whenever a machine sense, a machine thinks, and then machine acts is known as robot. If a machine only sense and think, then it's not robot. If a machine only sense and act, it's not a robot. Okay, so machine should sense, think and act, then only we can call it a robot. Then only we call a machine a robot. Example, your mobile phone. Your mobile phone can sense. Definitely it can sense. How? Microphones, cameras, right? It can think. Definitely it can think and it can act. Example, your screen lock. Whenever you keep your thumb, it senses with the help of touch sensor. It takes the input, then it thinks whether it's the right fingerprint, whether it's the fingerprint of my owner, and if yes, it acts and your mobile phone is unlocked, right? So here is the robotics mechanism, kind of electronic robotics mechanism over here is used in your mobile phones. I hope this much is clear. Let's move ahead and let's see each topic in detail. What do I mean by sense? What do I mean by act? What do I mean by think? And quite difficult to understand this. Let me tell you. So in human being, we have sensory organs, right? In human being, we have sensory organs. We have eyes, ears, tongue, skin, and nose. And with the help of that, we came to know about our environment, right? We know that yeah, it's hot. We know yeah, it's spicy. We hear different sounds. We smell. We see. But we cannot give these sensory organs to robot, right? So we give them sensors. So how do robots sense? Robots sense the sensory organs, whereas humans sense with sensory organs and robot with sensors. So robot sense with sensory organs such as sensors. Okay, that's clear. We will come to the sense part later. Okay, but I'm gonna cover this sensory part in detail because for us humans it's very easy, only 5 sensory organs. But for robots it's very difficult, many sensors. Okay, so we will come to that part. So for now you can understand robot sense with sensors. Let's move ahead. How do human think? Human think with the brain, right? We have brain, we think, okay, we get the neurological impulses, we think. But how do robot do that? You have seen robot has skin, but that's just a silicon. Okay, that's silicon, nothing more than that. How do robots think? They don't have any neurological receptors. So they think with the help of microcontroller. With the help of microcontroller. Here is the microcontroller at Mecha328. We'll come on this. Don't get confused. What is at Mecha328? I'm gonna explain this in detail. So do not worry about this. But we can keep it as mind. So robot thinks with microcontroller. And we program this. We humans program this microcontroller, which is nothing but algorithms. Then we have act. How do we act, guys? Very simple. We act with the organs, like our hands, hand gestures, fingers, right? Our joints, neck rotations, right? Our muscles are example are the actuators, right? Legs in short. But do we can do this with the help of robots? No, we cannot give our actual hands and legs. What do we give them? Motors, lights, actuators. Okay, so mechanical person can understand this better. We give them actuators. So now I hope you understand why it is important to have knowledge of electronics, why it is important to have knowledge about mechanical engineering, why it is important to have knowledge about computer engineering, information engineering and software engineering. Okay, so I hope the concept of what is robotics is clear over here. Okay, the concept is clear about the robotics.